to tell you I'm with you. When I say I'm with you, I don't mean it like an expression, like I'm saying, I know what you mean. I mean, I'm with you.
Where are you going?
Home.
Oh, well, pardon me, Mr. Perfect.
Good evening. Welcome to the Steelers Sanctuary podcast. I'm Leanne Lohman. I'm joined tonight by David Korb, Bob Quinn, and Dave Ribeiro, and Zach Franciscus will be popping in here any minute to join us. Today is Monday. It is the first day of legal tampering. We waited all weekend hoping for Justin Fields news, only to wind up being disappointed today as he went to the Jets. But we did have some other exciting news. So I think we should kind of just go through those things, start with the signings and kind of work through it that way. But before we get started, I want to acknowledge the passing of Craig Wolfley, the Steelers offensive lineman. I mean, just a great guy. I've had so many opportunities to interact with him and just, have appreciated him so much. I used to see him in Tunch when I was in Pittsburgh quite a bit. And then he's helped me out with some articles I've done. And it's just really just one of the good guys. They say that everything you ever read about him is true. And so from all of us here at the Sanctuary, we wish peace and blessings to his family and friends. This is a big loss for the city of Pittsburgh. So
absolutely.
Yep. So let's start with the DK Metcalf. The Steelers announced that they were signing DK from the Seattle Seahawks, or trading for DK, second round pick, 5 years, $150 million. What did you guys think? Good?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, guys. One of you guys can go first. Good.
Okay.
Go ahead, Bob.
Go ahead, Dave.
I'm never going to not like an offensive weapon come to the Steelers. I mean, this is a big time trade. I don't know where this came from, right? Didn't he was quoted as saying I want to go to a warm weather contending team with a established quarterback? I mean,
somebody did a tweet today though that was all the things people have said that they absolutely want to have, and then none of them have happened. So I can't remember. I meant to clip it. It was funny, and one of them was him saying he wanted to be in the warm weather.
Well, but we all know money talks, and it seems like the Steelers put up the biggest contract, and yeah. So that in that way, it's not surprising.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is that you have created a spot for your number one receiver, and it's not George Pickens. It's DK Metcalf. He's 27. You're going to get the prime of his career. Don't know who the hell's going to throw him the ball, but I mean, and in fairness, you have to say just talent for talent, it's at least a mild upgrade over Pickens, but a guy who's been around the league for a long time. I don't know that he was worth $30 million, but then again, the top of the market's $40 million, so 75% of the top of the market, I guess I'm kind of okay with that. Steelers need to be prepared, Steeler fans especially, for what they're getting here. The one guy who might be more volatile than George Pickens is DK Metcalf. He's got supreme talent, but he has more penalties than any wide receiver since he came into the league. So, I like the idea of him because I do think he's a big physical go ball guy. Personally, I said in our chat last night, I do think that the smart move, and there was a good mix of opinions on this. I know Papiani is kind of with me on this, that I think you move on from George Pickens. I would now draft Matthew Golden in the first round and let that play out and see what it looks like. I think that's a really interesting tandem if they go that way.
There is a big mix of opinions on that, though, because Dulac was adamant today that this absolutely means that they will not be drafting a wide receiver with that first pick. That they'll look at a later round guy. But we talked about this, David. You brought this up. What happens if we get rid of Pickens? What does that mean for the team? Then aren't you right back in that same position?
Yeah, we're just back to square one. That to me, that's stupid. Why would you just go? I mean, I get it. They are technically the same wide receiver and a lot of different things, but still, it's two wide receivers that one of them's going to get open. How are you? They're going to have to go too high safety from here on out. So absolutely. I like the idea of that. So, but Bob's right though. I watched the film on DK, just straight, for entertainment purposes, all the things he does. Oh my God. It's going to be WWE out there, guys. Literally.
Yeah, it definitely is.
You're going to have George dropping the elbow, fucking DK choke slamming people. Like
Yeah.
but I tell you what, we're gonna have fun watching it. So no, I like it. I think it's a great deal. Like to me, is he like Chase and like those top tier wide receivers? No, but he's right behind him. And I mean, 6 straight 900+ yard seasons, putting up multiple touchdowns, 30 mil. So be it. I mean, to get him in his prime right now, I'm all for it. And I don't want to get let Pickens play out this contract because he's going to want to be at his best this season. It's a contract year for him.
Yeah.
So he should want to be at his best, you would think. So I'm fine with it. I don't get rid of one because then you're back to square one again. And then you could do like Bob, what you mentioned, draft 2 guys. You could do something like that. I hope that they definitely hit quick, but I don't know. I don't want to do it. I don't know. I don't like it.
In a vacuum, I can understand, okay, the appeal and idea of Metcalf and Pickens on the outside. I get why it's appealing. But the reality is that George Pickens is not known for doing what's in his best interest. And if he goes out and he acts like a fool, or he just says, hey, you know what? I want to trade. If you're going to pull the trigger on a trade, you got to do it before he asks for it. Because if he asks for it, the price drops automatically. I've seen it floated where the Patriots is 69, and the 69th pick is in play. I would just do that because I like the idea of having a good soldier next to Metcalf. You bring in a guy like Slayton to be the initial number 2. You bring Golden along, who's also a very good return man. So you're getting a 2-for-1 there.
Slayton signed already.
He's gone.
I thought Slayton was off. I was just going to look it up. I thought he was off the table.
He resigned with the Giants.
In prep, you walked away to use the bathroom or something, and it just popped up that Slayton signed.
Well,
that's what happens when you on free agent
on the first day.
Yeah, right.
Dude.
This morning, Cavalli was talking about this when he was on the radio, and he was saying that that he feels like with Pickens that his agent almost has to say to him, like, look, you're in like a T. Higgins position now, right? And you have a choice here. Like, you can be T. Higgins or you can be Deontay Johnson. You know what I mean? So you can get on board. You can do what you need to do. Play your ass off this year. Do you know what I mean? And you'll get big money next year because there's no way the Steelers are going to sign 2 big money contracts for wide receivers like that. I mean, I wouldn't think unless maybe they franchise tag him or something. But even that seems higher than what the Steelers usually do. Or he can be an asshole and go somewhere and bottom out and turn out like Deontay Johnson.
Or I mean, and in theory, I agree with you, Leanne. I agree with you, David, in theory. But the problem is that Pickens, bottom line is if he asks for a trade, he's going into a lame duck year. A lot of guys don't want to go. He wouldn't be the first guy to do this.
You're right. Value-wise, it plummets what we get in return.
Me.
You're right.
And if that's where you think he's going, I agree. They got to go ahead and just do it.
I would call the Jets. Honestly, I would call the Jets right now and say, hey, you got Fields. He loves George. You give us the 43rd pick. He's all yours.
Selfishly, I want to see one season with these 2 guys together. I just want to see it. I want to see everything that comes with it. The fights, the big plays, the 2 legitimate good wide receivers on the team at the same time. I want to see it, man. I don't want to see them trade Pickens. Bob, you're 100% right. It's now or never. If they don't trade him now, they're going to lose all their value. He might turn into a complete asshole and stop pulling some crap to get traded. Who knows? Right. But I want to see it, man.
2 years ago, we had 2 good wide receivers on the roster.
Yeah.
We had Deontay and Pickens, and Deontay went way south. That's why he didn't.
Yeah, but that was Kenny Pickett. So we really didn't know how good they could be. Well, we would have been.
And for all this, we'd be back in the same boat. No, we wouldn't, because we have DK Metcalf under contract for the next 5 years. George Pickens is a lame duck
wide receiver too, though.
Yeah, but you only have one wide receiver again. Now you got to go get somebody else.
But now you've got your wide receiver 1 locked up for
we had him this year anyways with Pickens. Do you know what I mean? If we
it's just back to square one for me.
It feels like it's back to the same thing.
I mean, you're right. They haven't locked up, but
locked up, but it's looking at 2025, do you know what I mean? There's no wide receiver two.
All the reporters on the team, and Kaboli especially, has said this multiple times. That's why I was shocked when he said, "Oh yeah, I'd let him play it out." And he kind of backed off that a little bit this morning. But he has said there is nobody who will mentor George Pickens. There is nobody who will reach George Pickens but George Pickens. And he said you cannot bring George Pickens back on a lame duck contract just a month ago. Now you're going to not only bring him back, but you're going to make him wide receiver too.
It's like 1 and 1A. I don't think
it's like a 1A, 1B situation. Hey, Zach, I wanted
Zach's
to mention this. Dresden said that, long-term contract for a wide receiver and no quarterback sounds about right. I wanted to mention, too, this other thing that Kabali had said this morning, which was that he believes DK knows who the quarterback looks like it's going to be because they would have had to tell him something to get him to sign. Do you guys believe that?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he cares about anything but the money.
For a long.
Well, I think they gave him an idea. I think they gave him an idea. They couldn't.
They might have pitched him somebody. They might have, but
it's going to be this guy or this guy.
I don't think you
Wilson.
gamble that. Why would you that's really making promises you can't keep. Like I don't know how.
Well, they could couch it as
they didn't promise it.
Well, I'm sure they said we're probably going to get so and so. I'm sure they didn't say we're definitely getting, unless something's done with either Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers that we don't know about, and we're just waiting for. God, I can't even think of what they'd be waiting for.
Well, the Jets said they're not
wouldn't be
releasing
waiting
until Wednesday, so
I did hear that. Maybe that's the holdup. They told him, "Hey, Aaron Rodgers is signed. We just got to wait till Wednesday to announce it."
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The other big
I'm
signing.
telling you right now. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Bob. Finish up. I'm sorry.
I was saying, I'm telling you right now. I mean, look, we've in jest said Aaron Rodgers, and I wouldn't mind it. And signing Darius Slay and some of these moves seem to indicate they're pushing all in. And if you're going all in,
actually, I'm pretty sure Darius. There was a report Darius Slay is going to stay with the Giants. Right before I jumped on, I saw
the Eagles.
He wasn't with the Giants.
I'm Darius Slay. Whoever he said Darius is staying with, and then it's not enough.
That's Slate in the wide receiver.
That's Slate.
Yeah, that's
wide
wide
receiver.
receiver. I'm talking about Slay, the corner.
Oh, I think it's Slayton. My bad.
Somebody did this to me earlier too. So
I'm getting a Danny Dimes vibe. I just am. As much as I was like kind of getting an Aaron Rodgers vibe, I'm getting a Danny Dimes vibe.
Well, if they're doing the all-in thing, Bob, then it's Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers.
We're getting to a point where they don't have a choice. Like
I don't
we're
think
getting down to the nitty-gritty here with top, as I say in parentheses, top guys.
Did you guys see what Boswell? Did you guys see what? Well, I'm kind of taking Boswell's approach. I don't know if you guys saw what he said. He's like, just throw it up. DK and Pickens are down there. I'm honestly thinking the Steelers like, listen, we're not going to get the quarterback we want. We fucked over Justin Fields, and he's not coming back. I think the whole time they kind of knew that unless they brutally overpaid him more than the Jets, he wasn't coming back. They're like, listen, regardless of who we have, let's get them fun people to throw to. At the very least, let's have them. So maybe that's
down for Boswell at quarterback over Russell Wilson. I really am.
All right, let's hold the quarterback talk because we're going to get to that. But let's talk about the Darius Slay signing. Brought him over from the Eagles, helped them win a Super Bowl. He's 34, I think. And the details, I checked before we got on the show, the details of what the deal is still haven't been released. So I know he's a little bit older. Like I get some Pat P vibes from this, but I do think he has a little bit more in the tank than Patrick Peterson did when we brought him on board. But what did you guys think about this?
I said my piece on the last
thing was perfect.
That
was a great way to put it. Yeah, the Patrick Peterson was a good way to put it, but it was like Patrick Peterson 3.0. It's like we kind of learned from the Patrick Peterson signing, and this is a better version of that. I'm not expecting like a superstar, but I am expecting what we didn't get out of Pat Pete.
Yeah.
We talked about it on the last pod or 2 pods ago. He's starting to talk retirement. That scares me. He's 34. That scares me. I don't love this one. I got to be honest. I don't love this one.
I think it's okay. Like it's not. How do I put this? The guy had a better coverage grade than Dante Jackson.
I was going to say, would you have rather Dante Jackson came back?
No.
If I can get a guy that can cover better, I'll probably take that because Dante Jackson may have had the 5 interceptions, but how many big plays did he give up too at the same time? I mean, he got picked on really bad at the end. On that 5-game losing streak, I don't even want to know what his coverage grade was. So, if I can have a guy that will have better coverage as opposed to turnovers, I'm probably going to take that guy. And he did have a better, we talked about this last time, like he had like a coverage grade of like in the 60s. I think it was like 67 point something, and his overall grade was that compared to
Vaughn said overall 75.5, which puts him 14th among cornerbacks, if that's
right.
correct.
So, I mean, but the thing like what Dave said, the whole thinking of talking retirement, I don't want to hear that because that usually means you're done, dude.
Well, the one thing about Slay I'll say for him is, number one, like Vaughn is pointing out, he's still in the top end of NFL corners. He's a different 34 than what Patrick Peterson was. And let's remember, he's coming off of a Super Bowl, and the Eagles are moving on because you have a great rookie in Quinyon Mitchell and another great rookie in Cooper DeJean. So you can afford to let your 34-year-old corner go. So we don't know how much they're paying him. If they're paying him $7-8 million, this is a good deal. If they're paying him $20 million, I got a real problem with that.
Yeah, I think it does come down a lot to what that deal is. The other interesting signing that just came out a little while ago was linebacker Malik Harrison, who was with the Ravens. He got 2 years, $10 million, which we talked about this for a second before the show. Seemed like, holy cow, it's a lot of money. I don't know a ton about him. It sounds like from what I heard, like he can play both outside linebacker and inside linebacker as well as special teams. So my first thought was that he was coming to replace Tyler Matakavich, but it sounds like he plays more defense than that. So maybe he's the replacement for Landon Roberts.
Yeah, like combination of both, I think. They might save 2 spots with one player. Special teams and,
Definitely a jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing. Like, I don't know. I'm looking at his coverage grade 30.6. So, like, I do not want my man out there on passing downs. No, I'm good. Pass rush grade 61.5. So that's when he played outside linebacker coming through. A run defense is 67.9 grade. Maybe that's what they're looking for. That would make more sense as a Landon Roberts replacement. And then I guess plus he does special teams. If that's what he's really good at, maybe that's why the $5 million per. I don't know. I didn't see us coming. I don't think you guys did either, though.
No. Technically, they're paying him more than Holcomb. I doubt he's better than Holcomb.
Yep, but to this one, I don't know if you guys. I remember in my journalism class when I was in high school, they talked about an upside-down triangle where the most important stuff goes at the top of your article, and then you slowly get to the end until you're just saying nothing. That Malik Harrison is the bottom of the triangle for me. I'm like, okay, we have DK Metcalf at the top. This is the bottom, I guess. Cool. I'm like, cool. No, I just need to know where we are at the point of the day where Malik Harrison's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I said earlier, maybe he's just one of those like random Ravens linebackers that like Tomlin fell in love with, having some fascination with, or something, and had to have. I don't know, because I don't quite understand that one. So
it's weird.
It's
a weird one.
2024 though was his most tackles in a season though.
Yeah,
so this past season was his best season. He also had 2 sacks. I was going to say
that's his best season. He got a 60 overall grade, and that's his best season.
Right, it's well good.
Yeah, I don't know, man. So the special teams thing to me, it has to be that. It has to be he's a special teams guy mostly who can be the 4th guy on defense.
It's not a day one free agency signing, right? This is a after the draft, kicking the bottom of the barrel signing. I don't know why they're prioritizing
money
this.
Left over, so you do something like this.
Yeah,
this is bizarre.
That's true, Dave.
Unless the guy had a market and you really wanted him as your
fourth line. Imagine he had a market. I mean, maybe. Yeah. This is when you're Dave. This is your Omar Khan 10% theory. This is Mike Tomlin 90% of the way.
This is all Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
He saw him make a tackle or something. He went, Omar, I gotta have him.
Vaughn says, Fairboss says, it's the Steelers' new rundown guy who can also double as a core special teamer. Likely does mean Noah Landon Roberts, though. I mean, we definitely need the help on rundowns, but I didn't hear that a score was like so great that you're making that a day one move.
Right.
I got a problem with that whole idea of we need a rundown linebacker. If your 3 inside linebackers cannot tackle on the run, then when you bring the run down, just like Landon Roberts, and this guy is not as good as Landon Roberts in my opinion.
I was thinking the same.
You bring this guy in. Oh, it's a rundown. No, it's not. As soon as he steps on the field, it's a pass down because you know you can complete the pass.
And it's his 30 pass defense grade.
Yeah.
It's like he's got a neon sign, pass now. I don't get it.
Even Kenny Pickett, when he steps on the field, is going to be like, oh, there's my bitch.
Dommer's hoping some help from you guys. Can you explain our 7th round picks to him? I thought we traded Preston for a 2025 7th and swapped a 7th for a 6th with Seattle for DK. That should leave us with 1, right? Help, LOL.
No, they had 3, right?
We had 3.
They had 3 7s.
We had 3.
Yeah, they had 3
now
7s.
We have 2 7s and 1 6, which I'm fine with us getting a 6th.
Yeah.
I like it.
And we should be getting some compensatory picks here because that was the next thing was to talk about
so glad you brought
what
that up.
we've lost.
That depends if we sign more guys, though, right? It's like a formula.
I have the projection here if you guys want to hear it.
Oh, I do. Hold on. Let me say
the Steelers are projected now to get a 3rd for Moore, a 4th for Fields, and a 6th for Jackson. And that doesn't even include Najee, Daniels, and possibly, what did they say, Wilson? So
he's not gone yet. Let's not close the coffin. Goodness.
But the 20.
He was saying goodbye to everybody. It's over. I hate to say it.
Bring that bobblehead up here, Zach.
To get
clutch it tight, buddy.
Chris Dokish posted that on Twitter. But yeah, dude, that a 3rd and a 4th next season. I mean, in the 6th too, but like a 3rd and a 4th next year, plus on top of everything else. Man, 2026.
As long as they don't go crazy signing guys the next couple of days, that should be good.
Yeah. Should be good. So Larry O's gone. They released him. Dan Moore got 4 years and $82 million with $50 million guaranteed.
Why couldn't it have been Cleveland?
Mind blowing. Huh?
Yeah, I know, right?
Why couldn't it have been? He stayed in the division.
Tennessee.
Bro. And Justin Fields got 2 years for $40 million with $30 million guaranteed from the Jets. Were you guys, I mean, obviously, I think everybody was a little bit surprised by Dan Moore, but it was absurd to see this morning all the tweets about like he's the top, free agent offensive lineman out there or whatever. And there's, it's a bidding war for Dan Moore. I'm like, man.
R.I.P. Titans quarterback, whoever you are.
Yeah.
Apparently, they really don't like Will Levis. I mean, they are trying to get that kid killed.
Well, poor Cam Ward if they draft him.
An email letting him know they better up his life insurance policy. Whatever it is, he doesn't have enough.
Although I will say this, and I tweeted this out earlier. If he turns around and becomes like a near Pro Bowl caliber left tackle, fire everybody. Tomlin, offensive line coach, everybody. Because we've seen this before now a couple times.
I think that's why he got the money he did, Dave. I think that people realize that, hey, these guys are not that bad. The Steelers just don't know what the fuck they're doing with them. Like,
now, I don't believe it's going to happen, but if it does,
this is a guy who wouldn't move off left tackle, and going into this year was the worst graded tackle, not left tackle.
Yeah, overall
over the last 3 seasons. He slightly improved to terrible this year. I think he gave up the most sacks in the league.
He did. Yes.
This is where I really did not like. Normally, I even if I don't agree with what Marco Boli says, I don't get like angry by what he says. And today, someone's like, "Well, I heard that Dotson was really, really bad. His only response is PFF said so." I'm like, that is such a horrible response from a journalist to say that there's so much more you should have said. PFF said so. And he was a revolving door who almost got quarterbacks killed consistently. Oh, my God. That made me really mad. Kaboli, if you're watching, I really don't care about that.
There's some mad. Trigger words for Zach. Some trigger words.
That really upset me. I'm just saying.
So let's talk about Justin Fields. I mean, I think when we did our last show, when I was here, we were all thinking that was the most likely direction the team was headed in. That was what all the insiders kind of thought was the most likely direction. I think based on our group text, we all felt like a growing sense of dread as the weekend went on that wasn't happening. Do you know what I mean? Or the Steelers would have had something locked up. So, I mean, at least for me, I certainly felt like by this morning that clearly wasn't going to happen. So I wasn't surprised at all to hear that he was signed to the Jets. Do you feel like the Steelers dropped the ball on this? Should they have offered him more than the $40 million or matched the $40 million to get him to Pittsburgh?
No, this was he got paid paid a lot more than I expected him to, and we would have had to pay more simply because I think he did play good soldier. I think I'll say it, we fucked him over. He played wonderfully for us. Mike Tomlin had a mission. It was a bad mission. It was a bad plan that did not work, and he sacrificed Justin Fields in the process. We sacrificed Justin Fields for a losing playoff game with Russell Wilson.
Let me rebut that though, because here's my thing. Okay. Justin Fields cannot argue he was benched because he was not ever the starting quarterback. He was brought in to back up Russell Wilson. That was his assignment. He knew it from the beginning. He got very lucky to even get to play 6 games. In theory, he could have gone the whole season playing not a single down of football. Do you know what I mean? So to me, he got lucky to get the 6 games he did. During those 6 games, he played okay. But when we were 10-3, everybody thought Russ had done such a good job. Nobody was looking back going, man, I wish we'd kept Fields as the quarterback. Everybody was happy. So, Wilson kind of fell apart there at the end of the season. But I've said it before, I don't think he was the worst part of that team, like during that stretch of losing games. He wasn't the only problem or the biggest problem. And so I think it's unfair for people to say that, like, we fumbled the ball with Justin. Like, hindsight's 20/20. I wished we had invested in him and grown him more and, worked with him more, because I think he showed some real promise. But I mean, I don't feel like we can call him benched when it wasn't his job to lose.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. However, I do feel like he probably did feel slighted though, because of the fact he went 4-2, a 10-1 ratio of TD to interceptions, and they still went with Russ, and it didn't work out well in the end. So I think his agent, his people are telling him, hey, they slighted you. Don't trust what they say.
100%.
Don't slighted when Russ was playing better than him for those first 5 games or whatever it was?
I don't know what he might have thought. I mean, he made the comment like, I got to play better.
Think.
So but I don't know if that's when you say I got to play better. I don't know if you're just being a good teammate and you're not gonna really say how you really feel. But he showed how he really felt in free agency. It was the smart move too to wait. I don't think they fumbled it, but they're not going to pay him $30 million guaranteed. There's just no way. By the way, Bob, I wanted to give you credit. You were right. He ended up getting a $20 mil per deal. You nailed it.
Yep.
You were right.
Did not think it.
It went double the market.
You can't always trust those spot track.
And then he ended up getting $30 million guaranteed on top of it. So bro, you nailed it, Bob. You really did.
Yeah. I'll say this, well, I don't think that he had to earn the spot. He was given that job when he got the phone call from Mike Tomlin or Omar Khan or whoever it was. They made the deal to bring Russ here as the starting quarterback. So to me, if they had done it the other way around, like you guys are saying, they would have been lying to Russell Wilson. Do you know what I mean?
Didn't they say it was a competition?
Going back. Yeah, well, he says Joe nothing to earn the spot, but it wasn't a competition. I mean, they said that, but everybody knew it wasn't. Everybody said it. He had the pole position or whatever.
That didn't mean he had the starting job, technically, because that's what we got all over Kenny Pickett for. You don't want to compete with Russell Wilson for the spot. I mean, everybody blasted Kenny Pickett for that. Bottom line is,
I think it's about the money. It's 100% about the money.
In the end, it is.
It is and it isn't. I mean, yes, it's about the Steelers lowballed him. They offered him 2 for 30.
2 for 30,
Jets came in 2 for 40. And
so what would you have said today if we were sitting here paying him 2 for 44 or something?
I said they should have paid him 3 for 60 and guaranteed 30, and he'd still be here.
Yeah.
Oh, you think so?
You'd have been right.
I mean, $60 million, yeah. I mean, 3, I think he'd definitely sign that.
$20 million with 30 guaranteed.
He's leveraging a shaky career at best, you know what I mean, with no certain outcome. I mean, they signed him based on 6 games where he wasn't blowing people away.
In the end, they wouldn't go $5 million per. They wouldn't go 5 more.
They didn't.
That per,
I don't know why they acquired him, because they clearly didn't like his game. So why do you go get him?
Do you think that was the 10% Omar we're talking about?
Maybe. I just don't understand this. Like, he's 4-2. Granted, he's not setting the world on fire, but
10
he's
touchdowns,
4-2.
1 interception.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing decent. Why did he go Lone Ranger and Mike Tomlin go Lone Ranger and pull him out and put Russell Wilson? It worked for a short time, but
and that's the other part. Everybody in that building was all team Justin except Tomlin, which is another reason why I think Fields did what he did and is gone.
No, when
on top of everything else.
When Wilson set the world on fire, and for those couple of games, and we were like, "Oh, we're 10-3." I understand that, but what I'm more holding Tomlin accountable for is the fact when he could obviously see Wilson wasn't doing it, not going back to Fields. When he looked and said, "We're not blocking, we're not doing this. This is not Wilson's strong point," he was stubborn and said, "No, Fields is not coming in." And things could have changed based on that. So even so maybe that's in that specific little microcosm of that's where he fumbled, and not on the whole thing, but not turning back and choosing his pride and Wilson over what was
or at least giving him a decent amount of snaps. Do you know what I mean? Like we all thought he was going to do. I mean, then you went 3 snaps or something for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and to Relic's point here, he's asking, hey, he wanted to guarantee he was going to start. You're damn right he wanted to guarantee he was going to start because he didn't trust Tomlin to do that again. And look, let's just look at it as a football move. Let's throw money aside for a minute. He's going to work with a coach offensively with Lions coaches who loved him when he was in Chicago. These guys are high on him. They love Justin Fields. Arthur Smith loves Justin Fields. Apparently, the only guy in Pittsburgh who didn't love Justin Fields was Mike Tomlin. And he's 25. Okay, fine. He takes a risk. You don't get Justin Fields enough to put him on the field. The Jets are going to play him. If it works out, great. Good for him. Bad for us. If it doesn't work out, then oh well. From a football move, Arthur Smith or a Ben Johnson disciple, I'm going with the Ben Johnson disciple. I think I'm going to get more out of my career with my college #1 wide receiver.
So let's talk about that then. So now Justin Fields is off the table. We've talked before about Aaron Rodgers. Russell Wilson is obviously still in the equation. What do you guys think? Do you think that this is, there were comments today that Rodgers was meeting with the team. According to Dulac, it was a Zoom or phone call. It was a not in-person meeting. And interesting, I was listening to DVE and they were talking to Dulac, and while he was on the show, he got a phone call and he said it was the team calling, or implied it was the team calling, and he had to go and said he'd call back. And they're like, "Oh, you'll call back with news. You'll call back with news." So he called back and said he'd missed whoever it was and it went to voicemail and he couldn't tell them anything. But he said, just know that there's more news coming today. And remember that I told you guys a little while ago that I think we're either going to get Darnold or Rodgers. Well, Darnold was signed. So that kind of leaves Rodgers. Do you guys think that's where we're going?
My brother-in-law asked me earlier, and I told him exactly what I'll tell you guys. The second Justin Fields left, I'm like, whoever. I literally am like, honestly, I'm like, we got our wide receivers. Let's get some weapons in here. Let's draft some running backs. Let's get some defensive linemen in here, and let's not give a fuck who we have a quarterback, because I'm not going to be happy regardless. I know personally I am not going to be happy with whoever we bring in from here on out, even if it just doesn't matter. So whoever we bring in, let's just do it quickly. And stop dragging it out. That's all. That's the only thing I have to say.
And basically, Zach, I get what you're saying. Like, basically, it doesn't matter now. We just got to give them as many supporting, players as possible to hope this.
You mean like Malik Harrison?
Yeah.
You need to calm down, sir.
Yeah, I'm glad that's what they were focused on today. But anyways, look, at this point, they just gonna have to get one of these top guys that's left. And that I say it in quotations, top guys. Get one of them, keep giving them weapons, and hope for the best. I mean, we knew it was going to be a shit show from the beginning. I've been saying this isn't a great situation in general. You're not going to get a franchise QB out of these guys or any in their prime. I mean, out of all of them, what, you hope Darnold actually is a legit franchise QB that just so happened to turn it around, having one of the best, guys you could have as a head coach who's also been a QB's coach, offensive coordinator. Oh, by the way, you got Jettas and fucking Addison as your wide receivers. Like, I mean, yeah, okay, sure. But it's not reality. So, no, it's a shit show. You can polish a turd, it's still a fucking turd.
Yeah,
like,
that's what it's come down to. That's
I
why
don't know what to tell nobody.
That's why for me. It's give me Aaron Rodgers and fuck it. Let's have some fun because all roads lead to. It's not going to be a great season. Anyone who thinks this is going to be a successful season, I don't know what to tell you. There was no quarterbacks to begin with. That's why I wanted Justin Fields.
Let me see
it
the
does
draft.
not depend on the draft.
What
are they going to get with 21? No second round pick. That's going to change this season.
We are not change season, but defensive linemen and the running backs we get. I genuinely, and we're not done in free agency yet. I think we could put enough weapons around whoever we bring in to maybe be fun.
Well, that's what I'm shooting for. Is that
and fun means points. Because if we're not scoring points, that's not fun. So my assumption is when you say fun, I mean points.
Yes.
And if we're going to score a bunch of points with this defense, we're going to win games. This defense is not going to be leaky if we're scoring 40 points a game. So I'm having a hard time seeing both sides. If we're having fun in the way that I'm envisioning, we're having fun winning games. So that's where I think we're seeing it a little differently.
Yeah, to Big Poppy's point, the Eagles are doing it without a top-rated cornerback. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they built
have the best
all
roster.
the other necessary pieces around him, and Jalen Hurts is not Patrick Mahomes by any stretch. Do you know what I mean? Does he have some quality? Sure, but he's not as great as he is the sum of the parts that are around him.
Yeah, the Eagles have the best roster in football. That's why the Steelers do not have that.
What I'm saying is isn't that where everybody needs to be? Isn't that where we need to get to if we want to win a Super Bowl? We got to get back to that, having the best or closest to the best roster in football, so you're competitive. Otherwise, how do you ever compete against an Eagles?
They're not going to do that. Signing Darius Slay at 34 years old. They think they're going to win this year. They're delusional. They think they have a chance to win a Super Bowl this year.
Always think they're going to win. I mean, that's the mode they operate from.
Look, let's before we get too carried away on the Jalen Hurts slander, he is getting paid $50 million a year
not
for a
Jalen Hurts
reason.
slander. It's
Yeah,
not
well,
Jalen Hurts slander.
this whole he's not a good quarterback. He is a
I didn't
good.
say he wasn't a good quarterback. I said he wasn't a top-rated quarterback. He looks really good because of the people that are around him. He struggled in college. It took him time.
I'll say it.
I don't
think he's the great quarterback. I don't think he's a very good
great quarterback. Is he good? Do I wish we had him? Sure.
He's been in 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls.
Again,
but
the Eagles have the best roster in football.
He's not Tom Brady with the team on his back leading him into the Super Bowl.
I think a good way to put it is he's good enough. He's good enough.
Right.
With a amazing roster.
The Eagles won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles doing the same thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's
no.
Nick Foles was not doing the same thing as Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a weapon with his legs.
The same game.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think
building up around.
Let's not get carried away on the Nick Foles Jalen Hurts. Come on.
No, but the point is,
Foles
whatever.
Was their ace in the hole, baby. They knew what they were doing.
The Eagles just build the best roster in football. But not every team can do that, and the Steelers are. I'm sorry, they're a ways away from doing that.
Yes, that I agree with. But I think 100%. That's what they're trying to get to. I mean, I think that's the goal. And I mean, to your point about signing a Darius Slay, you can't replace everybody with top-rated people at once. Do you know what I mean? The Eagles had to go out every year. There was lots of years they didn't win the Super Bowl, and they had to go, okay, we're not good enough at this position, and we've got to replace that guy, or we've got to upgrade. And they've slowly worked on building that roster and keeping those core people. So I feel like that's what we used to do back when we were winning Super Bowls. We did so well. And, that's what my hope is that's what we're getting back to, because I would much rather build up those pieces than waste a bunch of money on a quarterback that may not be the guy like Darnold or somebody. Do you know what I mean? And then you're spending that money, and then you still got to replace him because you have all these other needs.
The thing about the Eagles is that they knew when to double dip at certain positions. The D line, back-to-back years, taking the top monsters at that position. And then double dipping last year's draft, Cooper DeJean and McKinley, is that his name? 2 guys they double dipped at when they knew corner was all those corners dropped. Steelers could have had any one of them. We passed. And they double dipped at that position and paired those guys with Slay.
Right.
And it worked out. Shut down corners all through, plus the D-line could stop the run and everybody else they already had on the team. All that, plus having Hurts, who's not going to kill them, but has a weapon with his legs. I mean, I'm not going to argue this here. Like
he's part of
the whole roster is just phenomenal.
Yeah. Hurts is part of the most unstoppable play in the NFL. That too. The tush push works because of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, it's a great thing that nobody can stop.
And it's because of him. I mean, he's got. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm just saying I don't think that he's this lofty, great quarterback that some people make him out to be. Today, Jerry Dulac said that he thinks the fact that we are looking at maybe signing like an Aaron Rodgers means that we are going to be more all in on the draft on a quarterback than people think. I thought that was an interesting comment. I don't know what the hell that means. I hope it's
first
not
round then.
21. I don't know.
They don't have a second round pick anymore, so
right.
You're gonna draft. You guys had one really explode. Jackson Dart in the first round.
Zach had to sit back for that one. I saw Zach's eyes and everything, and he just.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it, but I don't know if that's gonna go over.
Yeah, it's not gonna be. It wouldn't be Jackson Dart in the first round. There's only one quarterback they'll take in the first, and that's it.
Don't go to sugar.
I will be 100% honest.
We talked about it on Sunday.
There is no name. Name in the first round.
Give me Dion, give me Metcalf, give me Pickens. Let's roll, baby. I'm ready for all of it. This is going to be the most entertaining losing season ever.
That was because right now I'm looking at. I'm starting from a foundational place of the DK trade. That set the entire standard for this. It was, to me, it was everything that we love about Omar. It was everything we didn't think we were going to do. It was everything we've been begging for. I'm not letting go of that. So all the little things afterwards, I'm like, okay, that's fine. We are expecting to win now. And the worst thing that we can do is waste that by saying, let's bring a bunch of guys in that'll burn us down this year and have fun and all that. You're going to have fun, bring guys in that are going to have fun with a chance to win football games too, because you have a $150 million wide receiver right now. We don't normally have $150 million wide receivers in Pittsburgh, so don't fuck this up.
What's the best case scenario? What's the best case scenario? You've got either Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers at quarterback.
No,
that's it.
Stop saying Russell Wilson.
No, I mean, it's a reality, though. It's a
what's left?
Chris Boswell. Chris Boswell over Russell Wilson.
This is my point. This is where it's a dead end for 2020. I hate to be the negative guy, but 2025
Well, here's my thing. What by dead end do you mean no Super Bowl? Because I'll agree. If dead end means Super Bowl, 100%. For me, I think we're going to win a playoff game. I think as long as we don't go with a quarterback in the first round,
let's plan the parade.
Get a guy that's kind of fit. Playoff win. That's a win for me.
So I'm still looking at free agents left here: Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Jacoby Brissett, Taylor Heineke, Marcus Mariota, Drew Lock, Joe Flacco.
Yeah, it's over, dude.
Jameis Winston, Mac Jones, Carson Wentz.
Kenny Dimes at the top of the
Look, if you want entertainment value, fuck Aaron Rodgers. Let's go with Jameis Winston.
I could get on board with that.
Press conferences.
That'd be fun.
I could get on board with that.
I wouldn't mind that at all. That would be so.
Hey,
now,
think of Jameis Winston.
That would be fun.
With DK and George Pickens?
That'd be fun.
Look, I love Jameis as much as the next guy, but he lost his job to Dorian.
And then watch Mike Tomlin's head explode in the third quarter when he's on his third interception. Sign me up.
I mean, I didn't even bring up Daniel Jones. I mean, how do you guys? I mean,
that's the third option.
In
what
text,
about Kirk Cousins? Somebody brought
Daniel
up Cousins
Jones,
in the chat earlier. What about Kirk Cousins?
See his lack of mobility. Like, I know guys say Aaron Rodgers doesn't have mobility.
Right.
Kirk Cousins has no mobility. He's a statue.
He doesn't have the arm talent of Rodgers.
I mean, I'll say this, Leanne. At this point, sure.
I think
the second Justin Fields was signed, I honestly, Daniel Jones popped into my head. I'm like, okay. I'm like, you're more athletic than I expect. You're not. I don't think you're a good quarterback, but you're athletic, and
Daniel
that's what
Jones,
we need right now.
He can move,
So,
right?
Daniel Jones to me right now is there's no top of the heap. There's, hey, look, it's the top of what we found under the heap. That's what we have right now. And that could be Daniel Jones. Just get somebody because what I want someone that's going to come in and play in the kind of system we built. DK is a specific kind of wide receiver for an Arthur Smith guy. He gets that kind of wide receiver again. We're going to bring running backs in. I don't want someone coming and saying, well, I don't care what you got there. I play a certain way. I want Daniel Jones, who is happy to be there. That's what I want.
Mason Rudolph's still out there.
Yeah, Mason Rudolph. Come on, Mason, come home.
Mason,
why not?
You think Justin Fields doesn't trust Mike Tomlin?
Yeah, true.
That is very true.
Even the media people that know him don't even try to sugarcoat it. They're like, yeah, I don't even think he's the phone.
No.
Yeah.
Just for the, we're being accused of something that I'm not.
Where?
I don't think Thanks for the Dub has been listening very much. How on earth are we letting Tomlin slide for dropping the ball there?
Not on this podcast.
I was gonna say, bro, no.
Boy, did you come to the right podcast?
Yeah. No, we don't let him slide, dude.
Not at all.
I'm trying to figure out.
Did you guys see the video of Ben with his helmet on saying,
please,
DK Metcalf, George Pickens, Pat Freiermuth, bring me back?
That's the only way I think Pickens would work, because Ben is the only guy I can think of who might actually be like, hey, George, man, I'm going to throw you the ball, and Ben will.
Yeah.
And he's been saying for 3 years, if I see George one-on-one on the outside, I don't give a fuck. The play is throw it to George.
All right, Relic, you can't do this kind of stuff to us in the middle of the podcast.
It's happening. It's happening.
I hope Najee goes somewhere.
Dave, how long have I been saying he's going back to his state? I've been saying
my emotional support cat knows.
That dude's going back to California. I've been saying it for years. He's going back to California.
Good for him. He's from there. It's where he should go. It makes sense. Yeah.
Not Dallas just yet.
Yeah, I mean that's a possibility too.
Najee Harris is all about where he came from, man. He's gonna,
you know. And I genuinely wish him well. I do.
Somber say I didn't see it.
Oh no, well we were on a different train.
It's real.
Hey, look, if we're just rolling the dice and saying screw it, let's just bring in the over the hill gang like the old Washington teams of the 70s. Go sign Stephon Diggs or Keenan Allen. Throw them out there too. Bring in Rodgers.
Bob, don't put it in the ether because it's not that far from happening. Right. It really isn't. Be careful what you ask for.
Keenan Allen
we haven't got our random veteran wide receiver that's not going to work out for the year. We signed our veteran defensive back that might not work out for the year. So we have that checked off. Where's our veteran wide receiver that's not going to work out? Yeah. Stephon Diggs, come on down. Why not? We need one of them.
Oh, Stephon Diggs would fit in perfectly with these two.
Oh, my God.
Talk about killing each other and everybody else. Holy crap. Holy crap.
Enough as it is.
Honestly, me and Dave were talking this morning about we need a route runner, someone who can, is different than Deontay Johnson, baby. Let's go. Bring him back. He's the perfect guy. Let's do it.
The guy I really want to get is Evan Ingram. I know he's out visiting Denver today.
He's just like the other two.
I would be fine with Evan Ingram. I think
he's a goal ball guy.
That would be a nice
Evan Ingram
playmaker.
Is a great tight end.
Yes, he is. When he's healthy, he is a good tight end.
He blocks less than Pat Freiermuth. You kidding me?
Well, yeah, we had that talk when I said Gesicki, but I'm looking for playmakers. So, Bob, yes, playmaker-wise, yes. I like that.
So you're going to have 3 guys run 40 yards down the field, and who's going to intermediate?
Ingram is a down the
Dave,
seam,
it'll be fun.
Guy, but
let's have fun, okay?
He's not a go ball guy.
It might be fun.
We're going to have fun. We're going to win a playoff game, and we're going to get a quarterback next year.
You're assuming
that's what's on every Steeler T-shirt from this point till the end of the season. Have fun, win a playoff game, get a quarterback next year, and everyone fucking breathe. Right. That's the rule.
Yeah.
Don't you mean relax?
No, I didn't breathe. You need to call. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing.
Oh yeah, they have Parham. They don't need Evan Ingram.
Ron brings up Houston. What are they doing? Trading their. Where did it go? Trading their franchise left tackle. So do you all saw
that was crazy. That was crazy.
Absolutely nuts. it's Laramie Tunsil. Were there any other NFL news like around the NFL that really surprised you guys today?
Kenny Pickett.
Over the weekend. Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett is a Cleveland Brown.
I have to say, this feels like a little bit of like karma. Like I gotta say, like I feel
really want
like,
Malik Willis.
Somebody said on Twitter. All right, somebody unplugged the I forgot what he said, but this is so bizarre. So bizarre. How does Kenny Pickett end up with the Browns?
He's Kenny Pickett.
Just when I thought I couldn't hate him anymore, now I really hate him even more.
Now you have a reason to really hate him.
Like now you're a Brown,
one of
bro. I hope you tear your head off.
He's the starter right now, right?
Yeah, Watson's not playing.
Yeah.
Unless they go get somebody else.
My stepdad is a huge Browns fan, long time. This is a legitimate breath of fresh air. They've had Deshaun Watson for a while. It's been
wait till
hate our
quarterback
every time. Weirdly enough, this is a breath of fresh air for them.
This is a breath of fresh air for the rivalry. The rivalry now is going to be even.
I want to see
it's
TJ
deeper now.
Pickett. I want to see TJ sack Kenny Pickett.
This is a deeper rivalry now if they could do anything, because now you've got Pickett lickers that are going to be forced to root against their boy even more. I don't know how the fuck they're going to deal with that, but I don't give a fuck.
There's a guy who writes
it's going to be amazing.
Pickett fan, and he is struggling. Relic said that Deontay Johnson already signed with the team today, but he forgot to.
I didn't hear that.
Look, I didn't see that.
I didn't see that either.
About it.
No, there was a fake AI thing going around that he signed $100 million contract, but that's it.
Yeah. Oh, Myles Garrett was one of the ones on that tweet I mentioned earlier. It was like all the players that said they wanted to do something and didn't do it. He was one of them. Where it was like he wants to win a Super Bowl and re-signs with the Browns.
Yep. No, you wanted money, sir. That's what you wanted.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I know. That's the other issue that's about to, people need to remember too. That's the issue that's coming is the TJ contract. $30 million to DK. Yeah. You got to figure at least 10 more to TJ. So the salary cap room that we think we have is evaporating quick when TJ signs that extension.
He said though that his salary cap hit for this year might actually drop when they restructure this. So even if it goes up, it might not hit as hard this year.
But that only means that in year 2, 3, and 4 of this new deal, it's going to be outrageous and ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm telling you guys, I don't know if I'm down for that.
Well, I think maybe and this is what I'm hoping. If I was doing the finances, I would say, okay, the only way we can make this work is if you bring in a veteran for 1 year, bloat the salary, do all that, spend it this season, and then you have a rookie quarterback from next year onward, and that's how you afford TJ. If I was doing finance, I'm like, that's the only way that you could do this. You bring in a veteran quarterback for multiple years, you're going to be strapped next year and not be able to do it.
There isn't a veteran to bring in for multiple years. I mean, let's be honest. Like, who would we even want? I'm
worried they bring someone in for longer than a 1 year deal. That's my concern.
What do we think?
That if we bring in Rodgers or re-sign Wilson, it'll be in for 2 years for some reason.
You could
get That's a good question. What do we think Rodgers is going to get if they sign Rodgers?
In Cleveland.
If they sign Rodgers, I think it'll get 20 to 25.
Yeah. That's the other thing is that I don't really feel like he's that much of a step up from Wilson. If we aren't really expecting to like win a Super Bowl this season with him, then why not have Wilson come in on the cheaper contract?
Because Wilson has sucked 5 years in a row. This is his 5th consecutive suck season.
It's not my point. My point is that we're nobody's expecting him to be that much better than Wilson. If you're not expecting Aaron Rodgers to come in and help the team to get to a Super Bowl, you all just said we're not going anywhere this season. Why would we waste any extra money on Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers gives you I don't want to say a chance, but it gives you some hope. Russell Wilson, there's no hope.
So you're telling me if we sign Aaron Rodgers, you're going to have hope this whole season?
Yes.
And I don't have to
at least throw the ball over the middle of the
field.
field.
Bookmark this, Relic. Where are you? Get a bookmark on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame Super Bowl winning quarterback.
His resume isn't playing football. His old 41-year-old broken
He went 28-11 last year. That's not terrible. That's pretty good.
They had a worse record than the Steelers. And
but the Jets are a train wreck. We know that. They fired their coach after 5 weeks. They put somebody in charge of that team who should not have been coaching a football team.
According to you guys, And Rodgers can't get along with anybody. He couldn't get along with Garrett Wilson, who's like milk toast. And now he's going to come in and he's going to work and get along with George Pickens and DK Metcalf.
He might be able to put George Pickens in his place.
Hold on, time out.
There's
a lot of revisionist history there.
By anybody.
Garrett Wilson did not get along with Zach Wilson. Okay.
Garrett Wilson did not get along with Aaron Rodgers. Those were all the rumors that the two of them didn't get along. He threatened to leave.
And the quarterback before he didn't get along with either. He was asking, there was strong consideration. He was asking for a trade. And remember when Aaron Rodgers first came to town, my dream scenario to play with him. Sure. Yeah, Garrett Wilson is not some milquetoast. You know, he's got
that was his claim to fame coming out of college was what a great guy he is. No drama, low drama, never involved in the nonsense. You never hear anything negative about him. And then
until he got to New York.
I don't know. I mean, to me, Aaron Rodgers is the only one that gives you a chance. Russell Wilson does not give you a chance. And to be honest,
I don't know what Daniel means. What are we waiting for what? If you mean Rodgers, he can't be signed right now. They said the Jets are waiting till Wednesday to release him. So if that's what you mean, Daniel.
Yeah, that seems to be the holdup.
Yeah. What do you think about this? Juan says if you get Rodgers, you also get a new OC. Do you think that Rodgers is going to play nice with Smith? He's going to run his offense, or he's going to do the Ben Roethlisberger?
I hope he does the Ben Roethlisberger
Haley thing. It'll be Ben Roethlisberger and Todd Haley.
I hope.
And not to mention the fact that Arthur Smith hates Russell Wilson.
But
don't we need a guy who's going to say it's 3rd and 11? Let's run a toss play. No, I'm not doing that. I'm changing the play at the line of scrimmage like Ben used to do. When they call stupid plays, he'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. And when Tomlin wants a draw play on 3rd and 12, no, I'm not doing that. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to go for it. That's my point. Someone with some kind of cachet needs to be the quarterback of this team. Otherwise, you're going to get Russell Wilson, check down. Russell Wilson, toss play. Russell Wilson, handoff up the middle. We've seen that show. It doesn't work.
And bear in mind the whole, hey, Russell Wilson gets along with people. His teammates in Denver hated him. Most of the defense in Seattle hated him.
Well, I don't think anybody ever thought Russell Wilson was a popular guy.
I mean, that's what I said. If you want popular and maybe it hits, Danny Dimes is the only answer.
I personally don't care if somebody's popular. I don't even care if somebody likes somebody, but there's got to be like a level of respect. And I'm just concerned that that's going to be lacking when you've got 3 very volatile personalities.
Yeah, look,
Dave, whenever go
ahead, Zach.
Oh, yeah, really quick, Dave. Whenever you're talking about the chance that Aaron Rodgers comes in, 2 things popped in my head. We are not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that brought in Tom Brady. We are not the Denver Broncos that brought in Peyton Manning. So a chance to me, if you're like, we want to win a playoff game, 100%. You say that Aaron Rodgers comes to this football team that we are disparaging on defense, that we are on the offensive, all this stuff that we have so many concerns about, suddenly becomes a chance Super Bowl team. Right? But with those 2 teams,
no, I didn't think about
a team that was ready to. Okay, that when I hear chance, that's what I think of. So my mistake. What by chance? What did you when you say?
I meant more. I'm thinking more a deep playoff run because I don't think this team's winning a Super Bowl with anybody. Maybe you get a playoff win with Aaron Rodgers. Maybe you get lightning in the bottle and I can't even say it because I don't believe it.
Mahomes and Allen get hurt, and all of a sudden, you're playing against other teams.
At the end of the day, that's what we're up against.
Yeah.
You've got to look at the competition. You're not beating Buffalo or Kansas City or the way they're building this roster. Again, we should be stashing young players, stashing assets to draft a quarterback in 26. Instead, we're signing Darius Slay, and we just signed a 27-year-old receiver for 5 years. We're going to sign either Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. This is not building. This is going for it this year. What sense does that make?
Go for it, though. I mean,
but that doesn't make any sense. Going for it with Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson, that's not going for it.
I agree. I wouldn't do it, but
I think they're trying to do as much as they can of both.
They're trying to go 9-8 and keep the streak alive.
I think what we're seeing is all the parts that we're happy about is that 10 to 20% that's Omar Khan that's trying his damnedest to build something, and the rest of it is whatever is not working outside of that. Because there is a weird imbalance of some stuff that I agree with and stuff that I'm confused about. So I agree with you on that.
Here's the thing, too. I mean, Aaron, if you go with him, if you go with Danny Dimes, if you go with a rookie, which wouldn't be my first choice, but of some of the choices that are left, I would do that. If you go with Aaron overall of those other things, you are going to either succeed or implode. We need to either do one or the other. I mean, it needs to implode. If Aaron Rodgers gets everybody fired and the Steelers start over, then okay, I'm okay with that. If Aaron Rodgers wins a playoff game, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that too. But I am sick. I'm sick to death of watching 9-8 for 10 years and getting blown out in the playoffs.
That's the goal.
If you bring anybody else in here, it's 10-7, 9-8, lose by 3 touchdowns in the wild card game, and now we're talking about again this year. And you're not getting anybody good in next year's draft if you get blown out in the wild card game.
It's that mid purgatory. It really is.
All right, guys. Any closing thoughts before we wrap it up tonight? Another awesome show. We'll be heading into the rest. By the time we come back, it'll be actual free agency. Maybe we'll have an answer about Aaron Rodgers.
I think people, unless you want to have a very miserable next year, we need to adjust our expectations. See people saying this season's lost. This season was lost a while ago. Like there has to be some realism. If your goal is Super Bowl, the season was lost, a season and a half ago? You knew we were not going to be a Super Bowl team here. So what does lost mean to you? Readjust that, because people are saying it's a lost season and all that. What does lost mean to you? And then define whether that season is going to be. Because to me, this season, I think what we need, there's going to be a lot of reality checks in this season that hopefully will steer us in the direction of a good quarterback. But let's adjust what lost means before we say it's a lost season.
Well, I mean, you want to road to the Steelers Super Bowl? Lamar Jackson goes on sabbatical and becomes a monk. Josh Allen decides that he wants to join a combine with Aaron Rodgers, or join a combine with Aaron Rodgers. And Pat Mahomes holds out all year because he's not happy about what he's getting paid. Then all of a sudden the Steelers are viable contenders because now all of a sudden the 4th team, 5th team in the AFC is at the top. Then we just got to beat the Bengals.
There's really it's
Dave speechless after that.
You guys, they're just look. Yeah. For me, it's either Rodgers, Russell Wilson, or Dimes. If they're Danny Dimes, if they're gonna try to actually win anything, those are the 3. I mean, we can trash Russell Wilson all we want, but in the end, he's gonna have 2 guys. He's gonna have 2 guys he can throw the deep ball to, and they'll have to figure out what they're gonna do over the middle. And then if it's Rodgers, he'll throw over the middle. He can throw it deep. He's 40 billion years old, though. He can hit father time at any given fucking moment. Then Danny Dimes.
Where's Achilles?
He either you hope he uses his legs. If not, you hope that he doesn't get killed back there, and you hope he's accurate with throwing the ball, the deep ball especially. You're gonna have a negative with any of these guys. You just are. That's just the way it is now. So, look. Get your popcorn ready because it's going to get interesting one way or another.
Not Chris Boswell. If he's the quarterback, he could drop kick and get us 3 points every time we cross the 50.
I'm down for a drop kick.
Yeah. All right, guys, we appreciate you joining us tonight and joining us in the comments. You can follow all of us on social media as well as the Steelers Sanctuary page and the Steelers Sanctuary podcast page. We have a merch store where the QR code is right up above me. You can always support the show that way. If you're watching this after the fact, still please drop us a comment. Let us know what's going on, what your thoughts are about everything that's been happening. And we will be back on Thursday evening. Our next show will be in the official start of free agency, and we'll hopefully have even more to talk about then. Thank you, everyone.
And
have a good night.
Tomorrow.
Yep.
Ain't nothing over till it's over.
What's that from, the 80s?
It's probably the 70s.
Now what the fuck are we supposed to do?
This is disappointing as hell.
Yo, come back now, you hear?
Saw that coming.